In a quiet corner of numismatic history, there exists a coin that once passed through countless hands, unnoticed, uncelebrated, and seemingly insignificant. It carried little purchasing power, yet today, it carries something far greater: meaning, memory, and unmatched value. This is the story of the 1968 Germany Pfennig coin. More than just a piece of metal, it is a preserved echo of a nation redefining itself, and of a past that continues to captivate collectors and historians around the world. Crafted in a time of transformation, this small copper coin represents more than a simple denomination. Minted in the heart of Europe during a pivotal moment in German history, it quietly reflects the social, economic, and political currents of its time. Post-war Germany had endured unspeakable hardship, and the 1960s marked a period of profound reconstruction. In the economic miracle that swept through the country, even the tiniest coin had a role to play. But no one could have predicted how, decades later, this modest Pfennig would command the attention of the most seasoned collectors, and eventually earn a place among the most highly valued numismatic treasures in existence. The Pfennig coin was part of the Deutsche Mark system, a currency that symbolized a departure from a fractured past and the embracing of stability. The Deutsche Mark stood for trust, dependability, and hope in a better future. While coins of higher denominations received greater attention, the Pfennig was equally significant, embedded in everyday life. People used it for small purchases in vending machines to complete transactions that required exact change. For many, it was the sound of a few coins dropped on a counter, the feeling of copper in the palm, the unnoticed object in the bottom of a child's pocket. It became so ordinary that few considered preserving it. Fewer still saw it as something worth collecting. Yet, as time reveals, value is often found not in grandeur but in rarity and the stories embedded in objects we once took for granted. The 1968 edition of the Pfennig, though produced in relatively large numbers, now stands out due to a confluence of conditions that would not repeat. It was a year of subtle changes, of modifications to the minting process, and of evolving political realities. Some coins from this year exhibit unique characteristics, differences in font, spacing, even alloy composition in certain mint batches. These small variations are what set the exceptional pieces apart. And among them, a few ultra-rare specimens have risen to prominence due to their condition, mint mark rarity, and historical significance. But let's step back and explore the deeper layers. The obverse of the coin bears the inscription Bundesrepublik Deutschland, an official declaration of the Federal Republic of Germany. It served not only as a national identifier but also a reaffirmation of unity and governance. Encircling the coin's face, the lettering is firm and well-spaced, reflecting the clean, precise design favored during the mid-20th century. Below, the date 1968 is stamped with careful authority, anchoring it in a time when global events reshaped politics, culture, and identity. This date is not just a numerical label. It marks a turbulent yet hopeful period. Across Europe and the world, 1968 was a year of protest, change, and calls for reform. In West Germany, the student movement gained momentum, challenging the remnants of authoritarian legacy and pushing for greater democratization. Against this backdrop, the issuance of every government object, from passports to currency, became a subtle reaffirmation of national direction. On the reverse side, we see the oak seedling, a symbol that recurs across German numismatic design. Its use here is no coincidence. The oak is a deeply rooted symbol in German culture, representing strength, endurance, and rebirth. Following the devastation of war, the oak seedling on currency was a potent metaphor. It stood for regeneration, for the young shoots of a society regrowing from scorched earth. The coin was not simply a tool of commerce. It was, symbolically, a piece of optimism, a gesture of national rebirth, planted in the everyday lives of its citizens. The minting process in 1968 also adds to the coin's allure. Coins were struck at several mints across West Germany, each mint designated by a letter: A for Berlin, D for Munich, F for Stuttgart, G for Karlsruhe, and J for Hamburg. These mint marks are small but meaningful. Over time, Certain mint marks have proven rarer than others due to limited production runs or subsequent melting of coins. Collectors pay close attention to these details. A Pfennig coin from 1968 with a rare mint mark, preserved in uncirculated condition, becomes a gem of considerable worth. But rarity alone does not dictate value. Condition, provenance, and market timing all play crucial roles. Coins that have survived without blemish, untouched by circulation, with original luster and no signs of corrosion or handling, command extraordinary attention at auction houses and among private collectors. There is also an intangible quality to this coin that draws collectors in its narrative. When one holds a 1968 Pfennig coin, one isn't simply holding copper-plated steel. One is holding a story, compressed into metal. A story of a country redefining its identity, of a people rebuilding, of transitions both quiet and thunderous. It evokes a time when the world stood at the intersection of tradition and modernity, and when even the smallest objects carried echoes of larger truths.